Well, a very happy day before 4th of July. So, of course, tomorrow, Americans celebrate American Independence Day, the 4th of July. And this is a day where usually family and friends get together. So, my message to you on this day before the 4th of July is use this as an opportunity to really connect with those family and friends. So often we go to these events and we have superficial conversations because very often you're getting together with family that you may see on a regular basis or friends who you know well. So, my message to you is try and have a meaningful conversation with one individual at those gatherings that you might otherwise not really get to speak to. And if you've attended my workshops and programs or read any of my books, I have a simple framework. And that is everyone you ever connect with has three phases of their lives. They all have a past, they all have a present, and hopefully they all have a future. And both based on those three things, you can have a wonderful conversation and you can uncover things about the other person you may not know. And I do this regularly when we get together, and I live in Atlanta. We have a large family here. And it's just the opportunity to chat to somebody and ask them something specific about their past, which is when you grew up, what is one thing that you remember fondly? Or what is very different about the way you grew up or where you grew up to where you're living now? But the idea is that you get to know a part of that individual that you may not have known. And when I do this, I can have interacted with someone multiple times and uncover things that I didn't know about them. So I'm just asking you, you have an opportunity at these events to connect. And so often we're so busy in the moment and we're eating and we're drinking, we're watching fireworks. And the ability to really have meaningful interactions is so powerful. Just think about a moment where you have a wonderful conversation with somebody and you feel understood and they feel understood and you feel listened to and they feel listened to. And the impact that it has on one, both mentally, psychologically, and physically, is remarkable. So, my 4th of July message is really to do that tomorrow. And whether you are running, and if you're in Atlanta and you're running the Peachtree, which is a race that is very popular, and you're standing in line waiting for your numbers to be called, start a conversation with someone who's standing next to you. Have a real connection. And I believe that if we do that more and often, even with people that we think we know well, you'll be amazed at what they reveal, what they share, and at the connection. So I mentioned people have a past. Talk about people's current reality. What's their biggest challenge at the moment? What's the one thing in their life that's causing them the most stress? And then really listen. And then you can ask lots of questions about the future. Do you have any other plans this summer? You can talk about work. What's the one thing that's working out well? What's the one thing that's most challenging? But this is really an opportunity, and you don't need to meet and greet every single person. If you leave that interaction or that party or that lunch or that brunch or that breakfast or that dinner, having really connected on a more meaningful level with just one other person, the result is that they will forever be an ally to you. And at the end of the day, whether we're talking about personally or professionally, the ability to build long-term, mutually reciprocal relationships is so essential. And it begins with your ability to be curious. I love what Bill Nye, the science guy, says. He says, everyone you meet knows something you don't. And then Scott Peck, who wrote The Road Less Traveled, says, sometimes can you just put yourself aside in the conversation? And that would be a good way to bridge to my video that I did on pausing. And it's not only pausing when you speak, but pausing when you are in conversation. So here's my short video on unlocking the power of the pause.
When I do presentation skills coaching or presentation skills workshops, one of the tips I give is at the end of a sentence, really pause, because that way you slow down without having to slow down your actual speech. It's very hard to tell your brain to stop something, but it's easier to tell your brain to start something. So start pausing more, which will automatically slow down your speech. We underestimate the power of pausing to allow people to process what you're saying. So please, next time you share information with somebody, be it one-on-one or to a group, if you're in a sales position, pause. Pause to see if the person you are talking to is comprehending what you're saying. Pause to give space for a moment for them to ask a question. One of the things that I see over and over and over again is that people speak very, very quickly because they want to share all their information and they want to make sure that you're getting it. But they forget that if we just take a moment and pause, we will be so much more effective.
So pause in your conversations tomorrow, really listen, and listen to understand. We have several types of listening. There's cosmetic listening. You're on an airplane and you're listening to safety instructions. That's cosmetic. There's conversational, which is just chit-chat. You're waiting to see what you can respond with. And then there's active listening, where you really listen to the person to understand, to comprehend, and you'll see that gleam in their eye that they've been understood and appreciated. Because at the end of the day, whether we're in a personal or professional setting, we all want to feel safe, seen, and heard, which reminds me of the Zulu greeting, which is Sawubona, which literally translates to I see you. So for your 4th of July celebrations, I ask you to make the people you interact with really feel seen. And if we can practice that day by day, moment by moment, the quality of our relationships, both personally and professionally, is elevated. And we all want to elevate ourselves. Wishing you a very happy, joyous, and meaningful